Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. What is happening? Welcome to Series 6 of Working Hours, an oral history podcast about a place called Leeds, a time called now, and an activity called work. Working Hours aims to record 1,000 loiners, that's people from Leeds, over the course of this, the most important decade in the history of the human species, and ask them about what they do all day and hear how they feel about it. My name is Simon, and this is all my fault. My mission here is to try to map out what my city, Leeds, a city that has declared a climate emergency, did during humanity's biggest emergency. On Working Hours, we hear how loiners have, are, and will be coping with our multiple and expanding crises during their day-to-day working hours. Can we turn things around? We'll find out. To tell this story, I need loiners like you, dear listener. I need people in Leeds or people from Leeds to come on this podcast and tell me about what they do and let me record how this decade affects us. These are long-form interviews meant to challenge the short attention span content economy. That means they aren't always easy listening, but in my view, they are all worth listening to. They all tell us something about our guest, our city, and our time, not to mention something of what it's like to do that job and how someone got into that job. You're helping this project right now by being a listener, and I'd love for you to consider becoming a guest or a supporter of this project. Thank you for listening to this episode. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, well, I suppose early on I probably wanted to be Luke Skywalker, but that wasn't very realistic. I think I always loved drawing and art, and so when I got kind of to the end of leaving school, I wanted to be a graphic designer. And that was, so I left school in 1989, so that was still when YTS was going on.
Yeah.
And being from the kind of working class place I was in Sheffield, there wasn't really, going to university was what I really wanted to do, but this wasn't an option.
Yeah.
And so I took up a YTS in a printers, because that was the closest thing you could get to working in graphic designers. And so I learnt my trade there.
Yeah.
Basically, we used to work on big boards where you would print out what was called a galley, which was all the copy, all the text, and you would paste it onto a board and paste the picture in place and use pens to kind of draw the lines on, and then take big negatives of these things and spot out the negatives because they always got little specks of dust in, make printing plates. So that was where I kind of started. And this was before desktop publishing, so when I was there, Apple Macintoshes appeared and it revolutionised the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I went through my career being a graphic designer and I loved it. But then I got to a point where I realised I loved it, but I wasn't great at it. I was competent. I was not terrible, and I was all right, and I got a career in it. And
Good
I was
technician, but...
Yeah, good technician. Asked me to design something, I could design it. It's probably not the most imaginative, but it did what it needed to do, which kind of got my goat a bit because I wanted to be great.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like designing record sleeves and band posters and stuff, and I just, it's just not there. It's not there, so I kind of, I just kind of changed a little bit. At the time, at that point, I was working at a travel company in Leeds. In Rotherham, not in Leeds, in Rotherham. And I was working in the internal studio, so we were designing all the holiday brochures and posters and things that were needed for that. And it was the time when the internet was just starting. So I designed the first website for that company. It was still going, called Ledger Holidays. They're quite big now. So I designed their first ever website in like 1999 or around that time. It was horrible. Yeah, lots of spinning graphics in it. It was disgraceful.
Was it green and black?
No, it was because one of the brands we had was Disneyland Paris, so it's quite bright and but yeah, it was horrible. Yeah. But at the time, everyone's website was horrible.
Web 1.0.
Everyone's websites were horrible. So I designed the website, and then I got interested in kind of, well, if we do this and we're seeing the traffic and we're seeing bookings weren't a possibility at that point because e-commerce didn't really exist, but inquiries. Yeah. So inquiries would come in, and then a big part of the marketing at that time was direct mail, and that was why we would design all the brochures. We did direct mail. And also the kind of the adverts in the back of the red tops at the weekend. for holidays.
Yeah.
So you'd see kind of a direct response in that. And so I moved from the studio into marketing.
Yeah.
And started to get a buzz off the fact that we'd send out 100,000 brochures, and then 2 weeks later the orders would start to come in, the bookings would come in. Or we once did a TV advert for some battlefield tours, and we put it on Sky, in between, on Sky, on the History Channel, that was it, on the History Channel, in between the right kind of programmes. So programmes about the Second World War, we would put a battlefield tour advert on that. And as we did that, the phones would light up.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think I got the excitement of kind of marketing where you could do something and it would cause a reaction.
Yeah.
So you do some marketing, some promotion, whatever, and then sales come in. And so that's what really kind of sparked my interest. At that time it was direct mail, so it was lots of spreadsheets and postage and stuff, which doesn't really exist anymore, but should do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of is there, but it seems like people have sort of forgotten it.
Well, the problem with all that postage was it was really expensive.
Yeah.
And then the internet came along and it was effectively free.
Yeah.
At the time, it was definitely free. At the time, you had a website and that was it. And everything else was free because all the Google AdWords and things didn't exist.
Yeah.
So it was effectively free at that point. So people swapped what was working for something that was free. And there was a transition where people, no, this is the new kind of world.
Yeah.
Now I think there's a definite benefit for doing really good direct mail because it stands out.
Well, and it gets seen. And now the difficulty is getting seen.
Yeah.
Because you can do the best campaign in the world, but people might not see it unless you specifically plan that in and paid for it, or like done the right SEO for it.
Yeah. And it's costly, but it works. So that's kind of what I know. Going back to it, I always wanted to be a graphic designer. Realised I wasn't going to be amazing, and so I moved into marketing from there, and then carried on through.
You're listening to Series 6, Episode 18, and to my guest, Richard Michie. This is another in-person recording, recorded at Richard's offices back in Bank House again. And we recorded this on the 22nd of April, 2025. Hello, colleagues. Richard Michie has been in marketing since before the internet, cutting his teeth in old-school direct marketing. Then the internet came and made his jobs 1 million times faster and a lot more fun. Throughout his career, he has worked client-side in translation, twice, holidays, nursery furniture, big book mail order, ask your mum about that one, and renewable energy, and he's also worked for digital agencies in Yorkshire as well. Richard launched the Marketing Optimist in 2016, vowing to do marketing in a different, more agile way to the traditional marketing agency setup. He's great at taking complex marketing problems and cutting right through to the core of the issue. Not one to hang around, he likes to begin creating and testing strategic marketing plans straight away so that he can begin to generate return on investment just as quickly. Right, let's do this. Episode 173 of Working Hours with Richard Michie. So the next question is what do you do now? So you've said you carried on through, so you're still in the marketing world. What's changed, I guess? So bring us up to speed. Where are you with your marketing journey, as they would say?
Yeah, so after being at the travel company, I moved through to big book direct marketing, which was I worked at Grattan in Bradford. And then I worked at Mamas and Poppers. And then I ended up at a kind of a startup for a translation agency startup in Huddersfield. And that was like at the peak of the internet kind of boom. And so that's
talking like turn of the century or a bit late?
A little bit after the turn of the century, kind of 2020. 2002 probably-ish, where it was kind of really taking off.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was marketing director in a translation agency. I don't speak any languages at all. And that's where I kind of learnt basic SEO and kind of picked that up from doing the kind of the data stuff to doing SEO, where it was going from the speed of postage to the speed of light, effectively. And that changed, but the rules were still kind of the same. So the ethos about what you did was still worked exactly the same way. It was just faster.
Yeah.
So then from there, I moved through, worked a couple of agencies in Leeds, Then found myself back in translation, which was interesting. Again, still no languages. And then found myself working in renewable energy for a year. So I was a marketing director in a renewable energy company, selling solar panels and biomass boilers. And that was really good and quite exciting. I quite like that eco thought around it. That's still something I'm really keen on. But they went bust.
Yeah.
So they went bust, and at this point I'm kind of 42 and a marketing director. And at that point, the economy was a bit weird as well at that kind of time, with companies going bust left, right and centre. And getting a marketing director's job is quite tricky. It's not an entry-level job.
Yeah.
They're few and far between at that point. So I took it as an opportunity to kind of start off on my own. Not sure my wife agreed at the time, but we kind of got there. We just had a new baby. She just changed jobs, etc., etc. It's never a good time.
Yeah.
So at that point, I started off as freelance, and I called myself the Marketing Optimist.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now. So the Marketing Optimist is going to be we're recording this in April, and in May 2025, the Marketing Optimist will be 9 years old. So gone from, I remember day one going on Facebook and LinkedIn and going, right, I'm now freelance, has anybody got any work? And I picked up a really horrible little website on day one, which didn't pay me any money, but it was day one, so it was a success. I took that as okay, so somebody wants some work.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of grown and grown and grown. And we've got a solid number of clients who really like the way that we work.
Yeah.
So 9 years in, we've now got 5 staff, and we've got clients in Yorkshire, but we've also got clients down on the south coast. Down in Nottingham, we've got a client who is kind of Anglo-English, who's kind of, they started off in Leeds, but then they got back by an American company, and we're still working with them as they've developed.
Yeah.
So we're 9 years in, I'm still running the Marketing Optimist.
So we've kind of covered, so the next question is sort of how you got into it. We've kind of covered that. So maybe, but let's I'm trying to think of something else that we can look at in this area before I move us on to COVID.
Okay.
So 9 years, so you'll have been going a while when COVID hit. So let's do it this way then. So you got a client straight away. How long did it take before you started hiring staff, started having regular clients, and the growth started happening? Like, how long did it take for the ball to actually start rolling?
Yeah, so I started off as freelance effectively in the February, and then incorporated the business in May. So that's kind of why May's the birthday date. And kind of a year after that, I hired Chris Fox, who's still with me. He's our copywriter and content manager, and he's still with me. And when we've kind of grown from there, and now we do SEO and social media as well. So we've got a team for that. So we grew relatively quickly, taking on regular clients, some of whom are still with us, thankfully, which I think is always a good testament, isn't it? And then we moved on, and we got an office in central Leeds. We were part of a thing called Entrepreneurial Spark, which then turned into NatWest Accelerator.
Right. Yeah.
So as part of that, we were really lucky. We got free office space in Leeds, so we were just in central Leeds, in there for a couple of years with some other great businesses that were startups, and I think that was a real key point for us. I really loved being in a space with other businesses who were facing similar challenges. They were different businesses, it wasn't a marketing specialist thing, so there were all kinds of people in there, and you could have all sorts of discussions around finance or HR or marketing or technology or whatever you wanted to do. There was always somebody in there who had the same problem, who could go, I've done that already, or I've got a great accountant that you can speak to, or whatever you needed.
I've solved that tax problem, I've done this.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And everyone kind of really grouped together and G'd each other along. And I made some great friends there who are still friends now, who are running other businesses or have kind of moved on to different things. So that was a really, really high point in the business's life and really helped accelerate us. And then we came out of there and we moved into an office in Leeds. And my master plan was to have a central office so that we could have all the team there and we could be creative and grow that way. And then COVID happened. And I went into a bit of a tailspin along with the rest of the world, I suppose. It can't just be me. I'm going, what on earth are we going to do? So I was fielding lots of calls going, really sorry, Richard, but we've just lost a massive contract. We can't work, we're on furlough, etc., etc., etc. So things were starting to tumble.
Yeah. And with no sign of stopping, because there was
No.
like, well, what stops it? Nothing stops.
Yeah, no end in sight whatsoever. So that was a scary time.
Yeah.
For everybody. I mean, it's not just me. Luckily, I basically managed to spoke to clients who went, I understand this is where you are, but this is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
And that companies who have marketed still maintain the presence throughout the pandemic
Yeah.
are the ones who are going to survive
Yeah.
when we eventually come out. And I don't know when that's going to be, but
Everything passes.
Everything's passing eventually. I mean, I don't know when. So quite a few clients thankfully took that advice, but we had to make a compromise. So we scaled back on fees, which made it tricky. We were lucky enough that we had enough work so that nobody went on furlough. We didn't use furlough whatsoever as a business, but everyone had to go home.
Yeah, how easy was that? Were people already kind of geared up for working at home and working remote?
Yeah. So basically, how I started the business was with a phone and a laptop and an internet connection. So that's what we carried on with everyone.
Because you're already in that world, so you're already kind of like, well, we've got to work with the flexibility that this gives us and that we can use, and you're already trying to leverage all of that benefit.
Yeah, and luckily all the team were. I mean, Chris, bless him, it was like manna from heaven because he likes to work alone.
Yeah.
So he was like, this is great. I can work from home. And actually, halfway through the kind of lockdown period, his girlfriend was in Darlington, and he said, "Can I move to Darlington?" And I was like, "I don't see why not."
Yeah.
So he's still in Darlington. He moved to Darlington. He's still there, and also it kind of coincided with the boom of Zoom. Mm-hmm. So we leapt on Zoom early doors, and we changed from having everyone in the office to everyone on a Zoom meeting. Mm. And at first, I did overdo it. So we were having a morning meeting every morning. Sometimes it went on for like an hour on Zoom. And after a bit, I realised we were wasting collectively 5 hours. I was wasting 5 hours, and the rest of the team were all wasting 5 hours of their time. Yeah. We were collectively wasting a lot of hours just talking on Zoom. So we cut that down. We still have 2 weekly meetings. One on a Monday, one on a Thursday, as like catch up to ensure that we're all talking to each other, and we can touch base on things. Because that's really, really key. But yeah, at that point, once I'd settled down a little bit, and the smoke had cleared from COVID, we became 100% remote business. Mm. We now have a kind of a desk space in 2 Work, which is where we're recording this, mainly because I can't work from home all the time. It drives me insane. Yeah. So I have to have somewhere to come out to. Yeah. And also with this space, if the team want to come and work here, they can come and work here because there's plenty of space. Yeah. So we've got that kind of hybrid feel.
Yeah. And you're right next to the station and in the centre of town.
Yeah, we're bang in the centre of Leeds, and we've got that hybrid solution so that they can come if they want, but they don't have to. Unlike a lot of businesses, I don't mandate people come in at all. If they want to come in and work, that's great. But I still speak to people who are like, oh, we're mandated to be in 3 days a week, etc. We don't do that. Yeah. So, but the offer is here. If somebody wants to come, they can.
I mean, you've always kind of. Do you think that's because you've always been sort of a distributed team?
Yeah, because it is quite straightforward to work in a silo, really. Mm. Because, like I say, Chris, who I mentioned before, does our copywriting, and he needs that space to be able to kind of get his head down, and he's writing long, complicated documents and understanding clients, etc. So he needs that time. The same with the social team, Christina and Ligita. They need that thinking time, that creation time, that amount of time to put things together. But we also need the time where we collaborate and we kind of go, I've got this idea, what do you think? Yeah. So we have ad hoc Zoom meetings, or we use, it's a bit kind of bootstrappy, but we use WhatsApp to have kind of team chats. Yeah. And we use that for clients as well. So that works really well with clients, where we just want to ask them one simple question that an email doesn't feel right on. An email for us is more like formal communication in a way. Whereas if it's just like, can I do this? Yeah, great. Then a WhatsApp does it, and we can pass videos on and all that other content. So I think now, what are we, nearly 5 years after COVID, which feels like a long time ago now, it feels like a distant, horrible memory, but a distant memory. We're now fully remote, and I would never countenance at this point, at least, going back to having a full-time office. So when we hire, I don't care where they are, really, which is actually a great benefit for Christina and Ligita, who are our social team. Christina is Bulgarian and Ligita is Latvian. They both work, and they both got permits to work in the UK, and they both live in the UK at the moment. But it allows them, so when they want to go and visit family, all we do is time shift. So they start at 11 a.m. our time and finish at 7 p.m. our time. But it means that they can work wherever they are. They just need to go, I'm going to be in Bulgaria or Latvia next week, or sometimes Spain, or wherever they're going to go in.
Yeah, so long as you've got an internet connection.
Exactly. And we have the same productivity that we've always had. So yeah, for us, remote is the way.
Has anything kind of changed permanently since COVID for you, or because you were already kind of doing that beforehand? Was there anything, did you, I suppose you sort of mentioned, like, the kind of initial panic and stress of that period. Did you do all of the well-being stuff? Did you have lots of, like, how was your working from home? Was that just hellish? Did you have a space to work? Did you?
That can still be a challenge. I'm lucky enough that we got a kind of a spare bedroom that became the office. Actually, we call it the office now. It wasn't the office originally; it was a spare bedroom. But as the family's changed and grown up a little bit, that's become the office where I've got a permanent setup and everything. It is always a concern for the rest of the team because they've not always got a spare room. So yeah, I'm careful to ensure that they've got the right equipment, that they're set up as well as they can be and to adapt to their circumstances. And they know that I'm open if they kind of go, I need this, and it's for work. Then they have it. It's as straightforward as that. It can be tricky because it's not like for the traditional thing where you've got a desk and an ergonomic chair and things like that. That's not always the case, and sometimes people don't want that. So if they're renting or they've not got much room or whatever, they go, you know what, I don't want a ergonomic chair and a desk space. And I know that's not ideal from a posture and all those other things. But we work with that. And I think that's the new world of kind of that side of business.
Yeah, it's an awkward one, that. I feel that a lot because my workspace is terrible and the positions I end up working in not best. But yeah, it is. Because like you say, it's not always practical to put in a desk and a proper office chair and it's tricky. And from that point of view, I kind of do encourage them to kind of make sure we take lots of breaks. I always did that anyway beforehand. I always because for me, I don't think you can work longer than kind of an hour and a half without kind of standing up and walking around and doing things like that. So I encourage them to get some exercise, I guess, kind of stand up from your desk, go and have a walk for your lunch, clear your head. They don't always take that, but that's fine. Well, that's it. Yeah, you're doing your bit.
All
you're
I can do is and I'm also keen to ensure that they've got a decent work-life balance as well. So we don't work weekends. Everyone gets actually when we first started, everyone got a duvet day. So you can kind of ring up and go, I'm not coming in today for whatever reason. And the only caveat is if you've got a client meeting, you can't dodge a client meeting because of that. That's different. But now the team themselves have started calling that a kind of a mental health day rather than a duvet day. I don't mind what you call it. It's fine.
If you need the day off.
If you need the day off, then you need the day off, and that's fine. So we have a duvet day. Everyone gets their birthday off.
Nice.
We do, again, before Christmas. There was a thing where before Christmas, traditionally you kind of go, if you want the day off before Christmas break, you have to book it in. Because that's kind of how it is. But then what happens is you get halfway through the day and I go, it's 12 o'clock, right, everyone can go home, and then I went, well, but that's not fair on the people who booked half a day off or a whole day off. So now what we do is we close the day before Christmas and that's like an extra given holiday, so that I don't have to feel that guilty. They don't have to take that day off.
Wasted day, isn't it?
It is a
Christmas
wasted
Eve?
day, because Christmas Eve, or whenever it falls, the day before we break.
But what you use that day for, you come into the office because you're going to go shopping.
Yeah.
That's what people do.
Yeah.
And the office is always empty, and I'm the person that's the sort of, I'll be the one working, and there'll be me and like 2 people in the office.
Yeah. Nobody's answering emails, nobody's answering phone calls. So I was like, right, do you know what?
Everyone's just waiting for the time
They
to go
are, yeah,
home.
they're just waiting for me to kind of go, oh, it's 12 o'clock, you can go home now. Or you can turn off your laptop as you're already at home. So they've just got that day.
Yeah.
And then again, one of the things that I did from the beginning was give, once you've been with me for 2 years, you get an extra day off every year until you've got an extra 5 days. Mm-hmm. And that's on top of the duvet day, mental health, stroke mental health day, and the other things. Because that, for me, I mean, work's important, but so is having time off and family time and downtime.
And also, so is your employer giving you something other than pay, like actively taking an interest in you. You know, that's how you retain staff. It's like the thing that, because I'm big on sort of training and so on for staff, and the meme that I always use is what if I train them and they leave, and then the flip side being, what if you don't and they stay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So, and training is important, and again, that's tricky because.
But the field that you're in is a constant training sort of area, because you've got to keep up to date on what other marketers are doing, and skills.
Yeah, it is. And I was going to say that training in marketing is really tricky, because if you go like textbook training, by the time you've read a book, the book's out of date. Or the book was out of date the day it was printed, effectively.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of on-the-job training, because it's like this. You wake up and I don't know, LinkedIn have changed the rules.
Yeah. Or some adverts just broken the internet.
Yeah. Some things changed. Some things that was working yesterday, suddenly an algorithm's changed, and so that's not working today. Yeah. And so you have to kind of go, do you know what we did yesterday that worked? Yeah, don't work anymore. This now works. So it's a constant battle.
Yeah.
Because you're at the mercy of these corporations who won't tell you the rules. They've got the rules because they know what they are, but they won't tell you them. And so you have to kind of work them out for yourself. Mm-hmm. So battling things like that is tricky, but that's my philosophy always comes down to good marketing is around what people want. Yeah. And if you can don't do marketing for the computer, for the algorithm, do marketing to people. Yeah. Essentially, you can't go far wrong, because people are going to buy from other people, and if you kind of perpetuate that, then that's good. If you suddenly go, we need to do this marketing because the algorithm's changed, that's bad, because you're forgetting the customer, and the customer's the important thing.
Yeah, I've said this loads, and I am going to stop saying it, but it's the thing. So when I was starting up, you read all the marketing stuff of like new business stuff, like how to market and where you need to market and all your social stuff, and it's all geared towards followers, likes, this sort of stuff, which is like, this is not what I or anyone else that's starting with their marketing really needs. It's like, that's what the platforms need. Yeah. That's not what you need. Yeah. You need to reach like people that will respond and that will buy, or that will say, you're trying to build that audience, but ideally you're trying to convert into sales, aren't you? You're not trying to get likes, you're trying to get sales. Yeah,
and it's one of, again, for like vanity metrics is a really, really big thing. So you get lots of clients who will want 100 million, I want 1 million followers on my thing.
Why?
And it's like, well, how many of those are going to be customers?
Yeah.
Surely you're better off having 100 followers, and this is extreme, I know. So you're better off having 100 customers, 100 followers who are all customers, who are all going to buy and are all going to tell their friends that you should buy from whomever, rather than 1 million people where it's great, but and it looks, we've got 1 million followers, brilliant, but how many of those have you got a viable business? There's so many people who've got, again, you look at the people on, say, Instagram and TikTok who've got 1 million followers. It's great, but they're not really necessarily not running a business from those 1 million followers necessarily.
How many of them are bots and dead accounts? And
a lot, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All of that. Well, since we're in this area, let's jump into social media then. So, I So when I normally ask this question, I'm looking at what that person has to do in terms of amount of social media they have to do in their role, because it's kind of expanded to everyone has to do a little bit to a degree.
Yeah.
So even if you're in a workplace, you might be roped into, doing a TikTok dance or whatever. And it's like, I didn't come to work for this.
Yeah.
That's why I went to theatre school. But there's that sort of element where you're doing it, and again there is that thinking of like posts and clicks and follows, but there is also the actually connecting with people online and actually getting deals and that real social / work side of social media. So normally I ask, how much time do you spend on it, and do you get the return on investment from that time that you think you should be getting? Do you feel like you know what you're doing with social media? So that's the area that I'm looking at, but also within your work in social media, feel free to discuss anything around those areas.
Okay.
So, what's the experience for you? Is it something that you still like and enjoy? Do you have a turbulent relationship with it?
So I've got an interesting relationship with it. So again, pre-COVID, I used to run an event called Better Culture as like a side thing, where it was an event where we would have speakers come and they would all have 5 minutes to talk about anything they wanted. They get 20 slides and they have to kind of get off the screen. They have to get off the stage. And I ran that for kind of 7 years, and we ran that on TikTok. Sorry, we didn't run it on TikTok. TikTok didn't exist. We ran that on Twitter.
Right.
So at the time, kind of 2010-ish, Twitter was massive, especially in Leeds. There was a big community of people who would actually meet up. So we would run it from Twitter, and we would we sold out the Corn Exchange, the City Hall, the Brudenell a lot of times as well. We got a really big deal out of it. So we ran the whole thing on Twitter. That was when Twitter wasn't a horrible place. So prior to running the Marketing Optimist, that was kind of an early success of running something via social, just to kind of drive this event.
Did you associate the brand with it, or were you just running that separately as a thing?
Well, the Marketing Optimist didn't exist, so Better Culture was its own thing, and I ran it in conjunction. I had a partner called Ivor, and he kind of did the stagecraft part of it, and I did the marketing element of it, and that worked really well. And in hindsight, that worked really well because I met a lot of people in Leeds and made a lot of connections in Leeds prior to launching the agency, so that when I did launch the agency, people knew who I was, and it was like, oh, you're Richard from Better Culture. And that kind of opened up lots and lots of opportunities, led to clients and collaborations and things. So that worked really well. Now moving into the Marketing Optimist, we don't use Twitter anymore. We've kind of ditched it because it got toxic. It wasn't working for a long while, but we ditched it. We still have our account, but we made it dormant.
I don't think anyone sees anything that you put out anyway.
No, we didn't delete our account because you just never know if it'll suddenly get bought out again and it'll be useful.
Well, that's it,
And if you don't kind of keep it, then somebody else can get it. And that'd be worse. Somebody else gets our account and does something horrible with it. So we kept the account and to make sure we captured it. But we don't actively use it anymore. For me, LinkedIn is the way, and I'm a prolific user of LinkedIn. I probably I post at least once a day, maybe twice a day, and I also reach out and make connections. So it does drive business. It drives awareness, makes new connections, enables me to find new suppliers. A great way of using it. Last week, or the week before, I was at Brighton SEO, which is a search engine optimization conference down in Brighton, obviously. And from there, I went on a round table and met some agency owners, and we've started a chat on LinkedIn. So we're going to start a Zoom group from that, from the people we met, then connected on LinkedIn, start a messenger thing on LinkedIn, and then we'll start this kind of little, almost like round table where we'll help each other through. So LinkedIn is a big deal for us, and we do a lot for our clients as well.
So it's way better the last few years as well, isn't it? It's like there's more happening there. I mean, how long did you have your LinkedIn account for before you actually started using it?
Oh wow! So I think I probably first got LinkedIn when I worked at the first translation agency I ever worked at. So this would be, I was quite an early adopter. It would have been, I don't know, 2000 and 2004. I've been on it a long time.
It was one of those things that you kind of signed up for, and it went round, and then you would like.
I never really knew what because it was a job finding site. It was like a place, almost like a place to put your CV initially, and then it's morphed into much more than that.
Yeah,
and
a lot more networking to it now.
Yeah. It's business online. I mean, although I was going to say that I don't know how you find a job on LinkedIn anymore, but I have recruited people using LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And found people, and less from a kind of put a job advert out, but more of I'm looking for somebody, and so I'll search my connections and go, oh, you seem to be, I already know you, or you seem to be what I'm looking for.
And
could we have a discussion?
This world as well, maybe.
Yeah. So it's almost like you can hire somebody. If you're on LinkedIn and you're making that noise, you're almost like making it easier to get hired, because by the time it comes down to you being hired, either by us as an agency or as a recruit, by the time you get round to the point, they already kind of know you.
Yeah.
You've already started that dialogue, they've already seen your content, so you've warmed it up. It's not like you're coming in cold, which was what happened in the past.
Yeah.
Which is why LinkedIn works so well for me, is that because of how I post and what I post, when I meet a client, they already know me a little.
Yeah.
And that's also a reason to be kind of authentic on LinkedIn for me.
Yeah.
Is because you get that, I don't know, we might have a certain persona on LinkedIn or use images that aren't of you, or all those other things that you can do, because you can be anybody you want.
Yeah.
But then that perception of inauthenticity when you meet somebody.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we've ever talked, and from viewing my LinkedIn profile, you could probably work out roughly how I was going to be. And so there are no surprises. I don't look any different.
No.
I probably don't sound any different to how you had in your head. So using LinkedIn is really strong from a personal branding point of view, not just for a business owner, but from somebody who's looking for a job.
Yeah.
It builds up who you are, and that helps people to kind of go, oh yeah, I like this person already a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's find out more. Obviously, that's not the be all and not everything.
Yeah.
But it's a beginning point, and you can warm yourself in.
It's like an icebreaker, isn't it? It's like you're getting a sense of the person. It makes me think similarly of, like, how people perceive you based on how you're dressed or based on your image, because it's the same thing, and it's a marketing thing as well.
Yeah.
Like you've said, brand. There's a kind of personal brand element to it, but it's also just like, this is who I am when I'm not marketing, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, and I think
I'm still being professional, but I'm not selling necessarily.
Yes, and I think for me that's a real key. Is not to be always on, so not to be always selling, because people.
What do you like when you take a breath, and what do you like after the workday finishes? Yeah,
so I'll post things that could be construed as, oh, this should be on Facebook, and for the LinkedIn purists, that's what you'll get. Oh, this should be on Facebook. But what it does is it tells you a bit about me.
Yeah.
And going back to what I mentioned earlier, people buy from people.
Yeah.
And if you don't know a little bit about me, then you're not going to. It's more difficult for you to kind of go, because you have to like me a little bit. I'm not saying you have to be my best friend.
Yeah, but it's a trust thing.
Yeah.
Because you need the whole exchange thing is built on trust, that they will give you what they say they're going to give you, and that you're going to give them what you say you're going to give them.
Yeah.
There has to be trust.
And it's also a big flag for somebody who you don't want to work with.
Yeah.
Not everyone is my client.
Yeah.
And not everyone will want to work with me. Yeah. And that's understandable.
Yeah.
But by putting up by putting out there who I am and how I am, they can self-select, so they can always go, I see Richard's content, but he's not quite right for me. And that's fine, because that effectively saves them a load of time as well as me.
Yeah.
By kind of knowing who I am, and I'm the same with them. So I'd be like, oh yeah, I would quite like to work with this person. They interest me, they've got something to say.
Yeah, that's an exciting product, and I've got an idea of I know exactly how to sell that and who to sell it to.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I think it's important from a marketing point of view, but also if you're trying to get a job, which is kind of what LinkedIn really came for. So that's why for me, it's important to post, and I get that there are those who don't want to post, and effectively, LinkedIn is kind of like an iceberg thing. There are the people at top who are posting all the time, which I'm included in that, sorry. And then there are the kind of the lurkers underneath who never post, never comment, never like, they're just there.
Yeah, watching, looking.
Yeah. And I have had clients go, we've seen your LinkedIn stuff. And I've thought you've never surfaced before.
I have no idea who you are.
I have no idea who you are. And that's the thing, so it's looking out for those kind of lurkers, and I think anyone who wants to gain more business on LinkedIn or gain a job on LinkedIn, you need to surface. So that's why being a lurker, if you actively want to get something from it, being a lurker is not the greatest example. You need to surface, you need to kind of rise up, and that takes work and it takes courage, because a lot of people are like, but what if what I write people don't like?
Good, you don't have to work with them.
Yeah, exactly. But also, that's also a good thing of that kind of polarity as well, because you want people to, again, it's a marketing thing, you want people either to love or hate what you do.
Yeah.
What you don't want is the middle.
Yeah.
Is the meh.
It's the scroll past.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Yeah.
And those who don't care are not your client market.
Yeah.
The ones who love you will be the one you want, but also the ones who hate you, that's an emotion.
Well, and
so
also
that's kind of useful.
They generate engagement now, so you can just rile up the mob and get them posting about you, and then your brand's,
Yeah. I did a post about Elon Musk when he changed the name of Twitter to X, which I've refused to call it. It's a terrible idea. And I did a post about that, and that hit 100,000 people, and I think I got on. I was asked to do an interview on Radio Leeds based on the back of that as well. So again, it's about it shows up opportunities. You don't know who's listening, who's taking note, and so that's why it's good to surface. I don't think you have to be as extreme as me maybe sometimes, but
yeah. But it's the right thing at the right time. But also sometimes you are going to have a unique perspective on something.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily know that until you share it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, that's genius."
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what it's there. It's there to kind of get those opinions out and kind of show the world who you are. And you have to kind of. It's a very British thing to kind of have that cringy thing. Oh, I don't want to expose myself. Or it's a very British thing, I think. The Americans don't care, but the British are kind of, oh no, what if people don't like what I've said, or what if it makes me feel stupid, or whatever.
Well, it's the being centre of attention as well. I think a lot of that's school-based, because a lot of the time it feels like a punishment. It's not like, let's all pay attention. It's like, look at this boy or girl.
Yeah. I've kind of got over myself on that. Because I'm running a business and it works to kind of do it.
That's
so
it. And you've done it a few times, and you're kind of like, well, it wasn't that bad. I lived.
Yeah, and not everything, but sometimes things you post, you put loads of attention into something, and you post it, and nobody bothers.
Yeah.
And then you put a throwaway little post on, and it goes crazy, and you're like, I don't understand. Or you can get really upset, going, well, why did this one not work when this one that I knocked out in 2 minutes while I was on the bus worked really well? But that's life sometimes.
Have we got any more that we want to say on social media?
No, I don't think so. I think that's fine.
Okay, so Brexit, I don't think this will have changed much for you. Has anything changed work-wise for you since we have Brexited?
Not particularly.
Has it affected you? I mean, you said that the two social people that you've got working for you, they've already sorted the visas and they'd already got right to remain. Was that before, or was that?
Yeah, no, they were already cleared to work.
Was it a worry for
live
them
and work here? I have no idea, because I recruited them after Brexit had happened.
Okay.
We'd already Brexited. They'd already got all the clearance. I was very, very clear when
they'd already gone through that.
Yeah, it was very clear. So you're a Bulgarian national or a Latvian national. Are you cleared to work? And we've got all our work permits. Because I think Ligita in particular has lived here since she was little.
Yeah.
And Christina kind of came over after she graduated from university in Bulgaria and kind of got her nationalised. Yeah, so they're not British citizens, but they're fully cleared to work off. So Brexit has not really affected me, other than other than kind of access to funding, which kind of disappeared a lot. Obviously, we were getting lots of EU funds that were available to companies in the UK.
Yeah.
That disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
I did lose out one client because they could get they got an office in Dublin as well as in the UK, and they could get funding from Dublin to develop a website and that's why I lost that work.
Yeah, because they're still EU based.
Yeah, they were like, well, we can do, as long as we use an Irish company, a Dublin, a Southern Irish based company, we can get funding from Europe to do this. And I was like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So it's not affected us massively, but in small ways. And obviously it's a pain in the arse.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that COVID was
was a big issue.
Yeah.
Brexit less so, because most of our clients were English and were British anyway. So.
And what are you using in terms of kind of hardware, consumer, but like everything's pretty much virtual, isn't it? It's all.
Yeah, I mean that's it. So the client who's based in Dublin, we still do work for them, and obviously we charge them, invoice them in euros, and we've got a client in the States, but we're a service business.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't, and if you're shipping goods internationally, you press send.
Yeah. So
share.
we're sending emails and documents and website stuff. Which there's no tariffs, there's no import taxes, there's no red tape. So yeah, Brexit didn't really affect us, other than it's annoying.
Yeah. Oh, great! Another thing I've got to read about.
Another barrier we've got that we didn't have yesterday. But
so we've done COVID, Brexit, social media, climate change. So and you've mentioned you've done some eco stuff before. So again, I asked this for a few reasons. One of them being I want to talk to people about climate change. The other one being that Leeds has declared a climate emergency. And I also don't buy the discourse that no one cares or that everyone doesn't believe it. So, from a work perspective, how does that play into your work? Does it affect anything at all? Was it something that you considered within the design of Marketing Optimist when you set it up? Like, how does it affect your work at all, and if so, how?
I think climate change affects everybody in one way or another. I think there are certain things around the Marketing Optimist where it's changed a little bit. I think at one point I was looking at being a B Corp.
Oh yeah.
And I went through a lot of that paperwork, and I think a lot of the things that we were looking at on that, I think I got to kind of 60% of the way through the process, and we were already in the right area. Mm-hmm. But then there's been a bit of a backlash about B Corp in that they've let in some companies who in a lot of people's views shouldn't really be up to spec and shouldn't really be in there. So we didn't complete B Corp, we've not gone through with it. But what we do is we take it in as part of the business. Mm-hmm. So obviously now that everyone's working remotely, we are using less carbon just from the very fact that we're doing very little commuting.
Yeah, less travel and
less travel, less commuting. We work as light as possible, so we're on laptops and mobile phones.
You're not printing in the office. Everything's on
there's
the machine.
there's no printing. Everything's kind of digital. So there's that. But then we do consider our digital footprint, which is bigger and bigger than you think.
Yeah.
So again, there's a push at the moment for what's called green SEO, which encompasses lots of things, because every web page uses an amount of energy. Mm-hmm. And reducing that energy, if we collectively reduce the amount of energy that a web pages use, imagine how many billions and billions and billions of web pages there are. Mm-hmm. That could make a significant change. Mm-hmm. And again, AI is playing a really big part in this. Mm-hmm. So all those action figures that have been proliferated in the internet of, look at me, I'm action figure Richard, whatever, they've all used a lot of energy, a hell of a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. In fact, there was something, the guy from ChatGPT, Sam Altman, I think, said the other day that just putting the word thanks in ChatGPT prompts because people were being polite to the machine is using energy. So you don't need to say that, it's using energy. So there's a massive, although everything seems digital and you can't see it, we're using a load of energy. Mm. So there's certain things like that, like cutting down on the use of generative AI, which again is something I really rail against anyway, it really does my It winds me up, the generative AI stuff.
Well, you're an actual worker who does the stuff, you know.
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
a graphic
yeah.
designer. It's like, what is this joke?
Yeah. It's kind of quantity over quality. Yeah, I can knock out 200,000 words, but what's the point?
It's tracing for tech people, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the point? And it uses so much energy, and the data center servers that use it are just flying through energy like there's no tomorrow.
And it doesn't, like, it has no real practical use purposes. It's largely just a bubble that they're trying to, because they need a bubble.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of AI can be really, really good. So the stuff that's finding cures for diseases, because it can run so many permutations of things to do diseases. You can tell I'm a marketer. So AI that's fixing real world problems and saving people's lives, and stuff that's doing stuff that humans aren't they don't do very well. So lots of high-end mathematics that can do amazing things.
And also it needs to be then checked by a human, by an expert who can go, right, that is all right.
Yeah.
Or it's just, this is a load of nonsense.
Yeah. But the energy consumption from all these, I mean, the energy, I would love to do a study on the energy consumption of all these AI people in blister packs, because that must be crazy. The amount of energy that lot's used is mad. Yeah. But also, like I said to you, websites in particular for what we do use a lot of energy. So all our websites are hosted on servers that use green energy. And that means that we are reducing the amount of CO2 that just goes into hosting a website. Yeah. And also by building the websites in a cleverer way, one that uses, I don't know, from a website that uses less plugins, that is more kind of it's cleaner in the code kind of resource front end of it, means that would use less energy, because it's having to use less moving parts, less energy, but the balance is still being able to deliver something that is of high quality while still, because otherwise we're just going to end up with loads of black websites with white text on, and no images. And we go back to kind of when Tim Berners-Lee started it all, where it's just like a web page full of text with just links in it, and I don't think anyone's going to accept that anymore. No. But we do have to be aware of it, and I think it's really easy not to be aware of it at all, just kind of because you can't see it.
And it's something that needs to be pushed. Like, one of the things that we said on this a few times, like with businesses that are trying, is the sort of, we're doing everything that we can, like that we can possibly do at the level that we can do it. What we need now is for, the structural, for the legislative, we need it to happen at a higher order for anything to actually move beyond that. We're doing whatever we can, but we can only do this much.
Yeah.
It needs that higher order change.
Definitely, yeah. But it is that thing of, I think, as you said, that a lot of people we can't do anything. But if everyone does something, then that all adds up. Everyone does their own little bit, whether it's recycling or walking. But the number of people who still drive to school from
drive massive cars that don't fit in parking spots.
Yeah.
And risking other children that are going to that school.
Yeah, it's just like, just walk your child to school. If everyone who could, I know some people you have to drive, and that's fine.
Yeah, but some of that's to do with people cherry picking schools, though, as well, isn't it?
Well, there's that, yeah.
And it's like, well, you should go to the school that's local to you.
Yeah.
And it should be good enough.
Yeah. Well, so that's a bigger question, isn't it? Yeah. That's not always good, but I get you. But just walking to school and just little things, like walking to the shop. Again, we're 2 minutes away, 5 minutes walk from our shop, but people will still drive. And it's just like, but I know they live where we live. It's like, just walk to the shop. Because why have you driven to the shop to get a can of beans? Or whatever you needed? Again, that's, so like I relatively recently swapped my car, so I had a horrible diesel, and now I've got an electric car, which is not perfect. I know there's still issues around electric cars, but I'm not chucking out fumes.
Yeah, and you're not paying gas prices either.
I'm not. Yeah. I mean, the next step for me is to get solar panels on the house, so that then I can get solar to fuel the car.
This is the other thing. It's like that. It's cheaper. And the price of fossil fuels is only going to go up. And so the pressure will be, it's like I talked to a guy who's, have you heard of Passive House?
Yes, yeah.
There's a guy in Leeds that's got a passive house company and builds those. And he was like, you know, people see them as expensive, but in terms of like with the money that you will save on your bills and the heating and cooling for the house and the property, it's like they're going to become more and more attractive. People are going to seek them out because you're just going to be paying everything to these utility companies. Because they're not, there's no regulator going to stop them. They're just going to keep putting
we've seen that, aren't we? Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they'll become sought after because it's just like, yeah, this is, I can't afford this anymore. Can't pay these prices.
Yeah, right, and that. Yeah, that was the problem when I worked in renewable energy and people were buying solar panels and biomass boilers because they were getting a massive kind of tariff.
Yeah.
So they were getting money back for generating energy, and that people were putting it down to, well, how long does it take to pay off?
Yeah.
So it was a financial thing rather than, but you're getting free fuel.
Yeah.
And that's going to save you bills, and it's not so much about how long will it take to pay off, because you wouldn't buy a gas boiler and go, well, how long is it going to take to pay off my gas boiler?
No, you wouldn't even think about it. You just do it because that's what people do.
Because you need a boiler, and it was. But the mindset for renewable energy at that point, at least, was, well, how long is it going to take me to pay off what I've got? Whereas if you went into you can have an ecological, you can have an air pump or a gas boiler. Nobody would kind of go for the gas boiler and kind of go, well, how long is it going to take me to pay off this gas? When's it going to pay for itself, this gas boiler? Because nobody thinks...
It's never going to pay for itself.
No, it's not.
It's heating your house. It's always going to cost you money.
You're always going to, So it's not even a question, whereas the air pump, eventually you will have paid for it when the savings.
Yeah.
But again, it's a marketing problem. It's not framed it's framed in a different manner.
Yeah.
And if they framed that in the same way, then more people would go, actually, why have I not got an air pump? Or why have I not got solar panels? Because it's not about how long it takes to pay off, it's the fact that you're getting free energy.
Yeah.
And it's good for the world as a whole.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a big question, isn't it?
But it's a huge thing as well, but I think we underestimate as well how much, like, it's a really weird area because, like, we're free to choose and we're free to respond to messages how they're seen. But there is also, like, a collective, I can't think of the word, like, direction of travel and, like, a voice. And there is, like, we have had a kind of, you know, pick your decade number, but 20, 30 years of, like, being trained into disposability and throwing stuff away and, like, get a new one and get it cheap and replace that. And so, but then you can't have 40 years of marketing going, don't, and conserve, and waste not, want not, and so on, because the whole economy is driven by consumption. So you keep buying.
Definitely,
So it's kind of like you can't have that advertising campaign that goes, stop buying.
Because the vested interests aren't there. The people who are going to benefit from it are going, no, you've got to keep buying from Amazon and whatever else.
Yeah. But the reality for a lot of people is that it's just like, well, what can I actually do at my level now? Like, what can I get access to? How can I find the things that I'm used to and that I need? And so there'll be changes there that we'll see over the longer term, or they'll fall out of, like, there's no point marketing to them because they haven't got any money, kind of thing. Yeah,
but there's also a bit of a change. You look at the rise in kind of Vinted and things like that, where people are going, do you know what, I can resell. I think there's
resell and recycle.
Resell and reuse and stuff. And that's something that probably wouldn't have come a few years. It was kind of there on kind of the eBays and things like that, I guess. But has now become an actual choice. An actual something that's more.
And it's like a scene and a market, and then, like, there's enough people doing it now that you can do profiles of, like, who is this for, and, like,
So those elements are really, really big, and I think that, again, there's like a push. I've seen some websites where you can, like, for garden tools, for example, where you go, I need a hedge trimmer, and you go, I could go to B&Q and I could spend £100 on a hedge trimmer, or I could go on this website and Bob round the corner's got a hedge trimmer, but he's not using it today, and so you can loan Bob's hedge trimmer, and then give it back to Bob, and so he uses it when he needs it. But I don't know about you, but in my shed I've got how many ever tools that I need, but I don't need them every day.
But even with the car, it's like a car spends 95% of its time parked and not doing anything. It's like, so why do we need so many of them? Just use that capacity.
Because people like their own. That's the thing, don't they?
But again, that's something that we've been trained.
We've been told to do.
Rather than borrow, Bob's power drill, you go and buy your own because it's like, it's only 40 quid from Argos or whatever. So,
yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to, are you familiar with the, what's it called, Buy Not Leads, the tool library in Headingley?
I've heard of it, yeah.
That's been going for a while. I spoke to them, and they've got a variety of stuff, tools, garden tools, pizza oven, tents.
Because you don't need a pizza oven every day, do you?
No.
You're going
to use it through summer, maybe once.
I need one for a party or whatever, so you go, that's a great idea if you could just go and borrow a pizza oven for a couple of days or whatever.
Yeah. You don't need to buy all the kits, just like, I'll go hire it for this one party.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Do we want to say anything else on climate change, anything else that you want to...
No, I think we've covered it, yeah.
Yeah? So, I'm going to do the UBI question first. Have you come across universal basic income before?
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
I thought you might be. So, if there was a universal basic income, how do you think that might change your work? Would it change anything for you? Sometimes it's useful to think about this in terms of this. I don't think this would really affect your customers, but maybe starting up, maybe you would have started up earlier if you'd have had something to fall back on rather than like, I've got to work until I've saved up enough capital to make this jump, or ideally taking less of a risk. But how do you would it affect anything for you? Would it change anything?
I don't think it affects anything now, but I can see the benefit of it. I mean, as right at the top of our chat, I mentioned the fact that I was a YTS, which seemed like slave labour at the time, and probably was. Yeah. But I learnt a lot doing it, which was so that was good in one way.
Did they pay anything at all on that? Was it like £1 an hour or something?
It was something like, I think the first year was £24.95, and then it went up to £29 the second year, and you could claim your bus fares back.
Well, this is So at least you got free travel then.
Yeah, well, because I was brought up in Sheffield, the buses were kind of 2p.
Yeah.
So there was no benefit at all from claiming your bus fares back. But also at that kind of time, it was possible for people to be, I mean, the term is on the dole. So they could be on the dole and be getting their money or whatever, or they could go to university, because the university was
and it wasn't much, but it was at least enough to actually live on.
And it was free to go to university. You could do an arts course, or you could do a music course, or you could do something.
And they funded some training.
Yeah, all sorts of things. So
and they had actual jobs in the job centre.
Yeah. So from that kind of, it wasn't universal basic income, but from that kind of thought of there's you're not going to fall through the floor if you do something like, I don't know, start a band or decide that you want to be an artist or whatever. Yeah. You'd got a little bit of a drop.
Yeah.
You were supported. You weren't going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And that generated and created lots of artists, lots of musicians, lots of people, lots of creatives. People have then gone on to work in the film industry or massive musicians, massive bands, fashion design, all sorts of things. Whereas where it is kind of now, where you have to do like an academic course, like maths or something along those lines, or you have to do some sort of vocational thing. The creative element of that's now lost, or getting lost. It's not completely lost, but getting lost, because the creative side of things now starts to fall to people who are from more wealthy backgrounds. Yeah. Because they've got that.
Because they can afford to do a year intern.
Yeah, they can afford to go, I'm going to study a fine art course or whatever, because I'm supported. Yeah. Whereas somebody from a working class background, somebody from like a poor background, can't do that, because it's like, well, sorry, we can't. We can't support you.
They can, but they're going to take on 60 grand's worth of debt or whatever, which is going to impact the rest of their lives. Whereas if you've got daddy can pay that off, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, and it's quite short-sighted in lots of ways, because, as I said, there's lots of big artists. It's music and art and craft and design and theatre and all those things, and like gaming is gaming production in the UK is one of our biggest industries. It's huge. But those people who spent all their time playing on Xbox or whatever, they're kind of not really supported, or because that needs writers, it needs designers, it needs musicians, it does need programmers, it needs highly technical people, but it also needs these people who can take a creative leap.
Yeah.
And I think the way that the UK is at the moment, I don't think it really supports that, because it's not seen as the really important things are finance and industry, and yes, they're important, but if we don't have a balanced output, then we become poorer as a country and as a world. So I think, so having some sort of universal basic income would allow that to happen. I can't see it ever happening though, unfortunately, because governments will not. The vast majority of people would not agree. Governments will go, well, we can't just do that. They would effectively, it would go, this is communism by the back door, But
that's how the media does.
And
the thing is that the media do not represent anybody except themselves.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah.
So but it is a discourse problem. But it's like climate change. It's like why we can't have any movement on climate change. Yeah, it's the politicians who, just want to fly to sustainability conferences and so on. But it's the media that refuses to report it and refuses to actually talk about it and belittles it and diminishes it. Like, they all know, but they all know they're not allowed to talk about it. Like, why is there no discussion on COVID or long COVID? Like, we don't talk about it now. Because we've had, the trauma response of, but we don't talk about that. That was horrible. But the stuff that's ongoing from that, and we're still not, discussing it. It's still sort of but it's happening. The healthcare industry is researching this, is looking at it. The papers aren't reporting on it.
But that's the same with... There are loads of things, aren't there? There's Brexit that's going on with that. Nobody wants to talk about Brexit.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about that.
Don't mention Brexit, even though everyone's going.
Don't mention the wars, plural.
There's the wars,
the ones that we know about and the ones that we don't know about as well.
Yeah, the climate change and the stuff that Trump's doing, where he's basically going, oh no, this is all, let's just dig.
Yeah, and let's not actually look at the tariffs and what's going on there. Let's look at the other stuff instead and focus on that.
Yeah.
Why are we looking at that? Why are they always saying look over there?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the Boris Johnson play, wasn't it? It's that if something goes wrong, I think it's called a dead cat analogy. Yeah. Something's going disastrous wrong over, you throw a dead cat on it.
Look at this.
Yeah, look at this dead cat, and everyone goes, oh God, a dead cat, and forgets what's going on, what the real problem was. Yeah. And Donald Trump's just the master of dead cat. He's just taking it to extremes.
Yeah. Just look over here.
Don't look at that. Look at this great thing we're doing here.
Yeah. So now I'm going to do the change question. This is an interesting one for people that run their own business, because you kind of can change whatever you want within reason. So you can be very pragmatic with this. You can be very fantastical with it. You can be like, I want to design world peace or whatever, and be really daft if you want. So feel free to play with this. But if you could change any 3 things about your work, what would you change?
Oh, blimey. That's really tricky. So if we could change any 3 things about the work, I think...
I mean, it could be about the way that you work. It could be the situation, however you want to take that question.
I think the first thing would be to get more time in the day. So a nice kind of 14-day week, a 14-week. Anyway, more double
14-hour day.
A 14-hour would be wonderful, and then still be able to fit in all the family things. Still
have energy.
And still have energy, yeah, would be wonderful. Because again, that's one of the things of that balance of you're running a business, but you've also got the paying attention to the family, getting some time to yourself. And I'm not a tech bro. I'm not the kind of person that wakes up at 4:30 in the morning and does.
I'm not grinding 80 hours a week.
No, because I just think it's counterproductive, and also it's not me. I can't.
Well, most of those things, they're spending 5 hours, doing juice and yoga for.
Yeah.
I get up and I cleanse, and then I do that. It's like, all right, we've read American Psycho.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be nice to be, where I want to get the business. This is why I kind of started employing people as well, is to get to a point where it's not as all-consuming, so that I can be able to kind of step away a little bit. The business will run itself to a degree. I don't want to be complete. I don't want to make myself redundant. but to be able to kind of step away and know that it's running as it should be, and it's still growing, and I've still got my input, and it's all nice. I'm not after a large agency by any means, because I don't think I could cope with that. It's definitely personal to me, and so I want to maintain that. But like everybody, I want to be successful. I want to get it to a certain size. I want to be able to make it sure that the team feel fulfilled in their work life, and by being fulfilled in their work life, that I mean they're fulfilled in their home life as well, their kind of life outside work. So I think those are two really important things.
If things are bad at home and they're okay at work, that helps, and vice versa.
Yeah.
If things are bad both, the worst time.
Yeah. So my job is to make sure that the team do their best work for me and for the clients, but also that by doing their best work, they're happy in their work.
Yeah.
And by osmosis, by that kind of move on.
Yeah, they're happy.
That gives them
the happiness.
Opportunities to be happy at home, and that's the bit I can't control.
Yeah.
But I can make it as easy as I can from a work point of view to make sure that their home life is. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not kind of emailing in the middle of the night and phone calls in the middle of the night while they're trying to.
Yeah. But if they've had a good day at work, they've done a good bit of work, and they're like, they've done something that you've done something that you're happy with and proud of, or you're like, I delivered that. You end the day better off, don't you? You feel better at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I don't really know what I'd change really.
Is there any would ideally like to have, or would you any plans for expansion? Would you sort of have some other sites anywhere, or?
Yeah. I think it'd be good to expand the business into more of the kind of the video side of it. So the more video production side of things, and I think that's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I really love that bit. Whenever we're doing kind of any filming or a client needs a video making or whatever, I tend to kind of go, I'll take that, because I just love it. I love kind of being able to. I've always loved cameras, and I like to be able to kind of knit a story together in that visual way. And obviously the more that we're doing at the moment, the more with social media and websites and marketing in general is very, very video driven. But it's about doing good things, because it's even easy. I could pick my phone up now and knock out a quick video, which I have done. They're not great, but they are what they are. And a lot of people will do that, and that they serve a purpose. But I quite like doing the really high quality stuff. I do love that. I've got a feeling for that. I don't know if I'm very good at it.
Well, I was going to say,
but I enjoy it.
Well, I was going to say, with a lot of marketers, it's that thing of you go around a builder's house and it's not built because they're building all day. They come home and they're going to get to it, but it's like, so do you how good are you at marketing yourselves? Do you spend much time on that, or are you too busy working?
Again, and this is the marketer's dichotomy, is the fact that you, and I know from speaking to lots of agency owners, it's always the same thing. It's like we can't get around to our own marketing because we're doing all the marketing for everybody else. But we do spend a fair amount of time on that. So we do a newsletter once a month. The team and myself do blogging once a month. We obviously I'm heavy on the social media. So we are doing a lot of our own marketing to get out there. I'm going to events. I went to Brighton SEO the other day. I'm here, I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So we do our own marketing, but again, it'd be good to kind of get more time to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's important. We do more marketing, we get more business, but then you get more business, you do less marketing, and it's kind of a merry-go-round.
More work,
Yeah, it's a merry-go-round, and it's important, like all businesses, to keep it moving, ensure it's always happening, because it's difficult to, if you, it's like I said earlier with COVID, if you dip, it's more difficult to come back.
Yeah.
Whereas even if all you're doing is maintaining it, you're at least maintaining it. You're not, if you disappear for 6 months, and then you have to kind of go, we're back again. There's people have overtaken you or kept it moving.
Yeah.
So the worst case scenario is to ensure you maintain it. The best case scenario is obviously to try to accelerate it, and we do that.
Yeah.
But it can be tricky to find the time.
Yeah. And to justify it. It's just like all hands on deck. We've got a big contract. We've got to do this work. It's got to get done. It's got to be the best we can do.
Absolutely. But as a business owner, you have to keep in mind that things just suddenly fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
So you can be going along, and it does happen. It has happened where everything's going well. COVID is an example where everything's going great. We were doing really well up until lockdown was called, and then everything fell out the sky. And that's an extreme example, but things just do happen, and so that's why you have to keep going on the market, on the putting yourself out there front, because that's the only way you can either get bigger or be able to maintain what you already have, because things will drop out. That's just life.
I mean, maybe a good culture change, speaking of large culture changes, maybe a good culture change is like, maybe the first thing you don't cut when things get hard is your marketing budget.
Which is I think I saw a post the other day that said, why do big businesses not kind of ball out their finance department in the same way that they would ball out their marketing department? It just doesn't happen. But the finance department is just as kind of crucial and volatile.
But they're not responsive, are they? They dictate. It comes from them.
Yeah.
It's like everyone has to be responsive to them. It's like, no, you're there to facilitate this stuff. The money allows the things to happen.
Yeah.
You find the money. Find the money.
Yeah. But the marketing, it's like, we've not got enough leads, we've not got enough sales, whatever. But then the finance just kind of goes, we've just got to pay our VAT bill or whatever. So marketing is one of those things that obviously, and I am going to say this, and I've always said this, is marketing, it should not be the first thing that you cut. In reality, marketing should be probably one of the last things that you cut. Because if you cut marketing, you're cutting potential demand. And if you cut potential demand, then the business is going to go into decline. It's kind of if you stop telling people you're here, it's like having a shop and going, we can't pay the telephone bill, so we'll take the sign out, we'll take the sign down outside. And then some people go, just walk straight past your shop.
Or they'll think you've closed, or that you've gone, or they'll go to a competitor because they start seeing their messages.
So marketing, and I'm a marketer, so I would say this, but marketing should be one of the last things that is cut if you're trying to save. And times are tough, I get that, but if you're trying to save your business and not necessarily save money, marketing should be one of the last things to be cut, because that's the thing that will generate more business.
And especially in an age where there is opportunities for free marketing. Like, don't just cut it and then not bother. Like, if you are going to cut it, put something in place. Like, do stuff for free. Like, keep it up. At least.
Well, that's it. There are so many. It's like doing a podcast today. It's one of those things that we've looked at, because we're a marketing agency. We looked at, should we do our own podcast? But then there's a lot of work, as you know. There's a lot of work goes into creating a podcast, and it's not necessarily the greatest use of our time to make a podcast. However, I'm more than happy to appear on podcasts, because then we're helping you create content, and you're talking to me. So I don't have to create a podcast. I don't have to kind of go through all the work and get the guests and do all the hard work that you're doing.
And it's part of your SEO, even if no one listens to it. It's another thing there.
We're out there again. We've done something else. Other people will pick it up. So again, there are lots of things you can do if you think canny in that kind of way. But marketing should, in my view, be one of the last things. I know it's not universally accepted, but no marketing, no demand, no business, effectively.
So I'm going to ask this. So are you aware of the Leeds Manufacturing Festival?
I have heard of it, yes.
They're quite active on LinkedIn. Is there a Leeds Marketing Festival?
No.
Loads of marketers in
I know.
What's...
Is
there no community for it? Is
there's a massive
really
community.
Competitive, or
there's a massive community which is There are things. So Prolific North, which is the kind of industry magazine,
heard of them,
which covers Manchester and covers the north effectively. So they're doing a couple of events. I think they have got a marketing festival that's coming to Leeds, Manchester, and I think Liverpool. I might be wrong on Liverpool. And that's coming in a few months, so I'm attending that. But no, there's no kind of marketing festival as it were. There used to be one before COVID. There was an SEO event that was held in the arena. And there's the Leeds Digital Festival, which is massive, and we've been involved in the Digital Festival in previous years. That works really well. But But yeah, there's not so much of a festival thing, and I think there'd be an appetite for it if there was one.
It's one of the things that surprised me doing this. So, and obviously I'm in a kind of LinkedIn niche at the moment, but like, I knew call centres were massive for Leeds. I know we've got a manufacturing base. We've got quite a good lot of farmland and agricultural stuff around. We've got the wool industry historically and the mills and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't know there were so many marketing agencies and companies and I just had no idea that like so many. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Leeds is a real hotbed for it. There's obviously Leeds and Manchester, but I actually think for digital marketing at least, Leeds is the hub.
The main hub for outside of London in the UK.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But same for finance as well, though, isn't it, Leeds?
Yeah, finance is massive in Leeds, absolutely, yeah. But no, there's not an annual one that's on the. There are some small ones and little things happening, but no kind of this is the Leeds marketing festival. As I said, I went down to Brighton, which is a long way, and that was massive. That has like 10,000 people over 2 days, with lots of keynote speeches and things, and it's full, and the queues are on the block. There's no real reason why there's not one of those in the north.
But surely, I get the impression that Leeds can pick up a lot of business from the south, because they're still paying the costs of like having buildings and like paying over the odds, which means they have to charge over the odds. And you can come in and undercut them. Yeah. Because you don't have to worry about that.
Just because of the overheads, we don't have that. Yeah. Because distance is now no barrier to anybody, and we could even work. We could work with clients wherever they are.
Australia, anywhere in the world.
Yeah. But no, there's. I don't want to be disingenuous because there are events, but there's no kind of specific Leeds marketing festival.
Yeah. Which seems a little bit strange to me, considering how much.
Yeah, maybe it's because we're all so busy marketing that we don't have time to do that. Yeah, there are. Don't get me wrong, there are events. So we've been involved in a thing called the Marketing Showcase, which again kind of goes round and round. Lots of generally football grounds. In Leeds, it's been at the Royal Armouries, but that's like a one-day event where it's not so much a festival as a show.
Yeah.
So they have talks and stands and things, but it's not that kind of collective thing with like big talks and the kind of thing you've got in your mind when you think of a marketing festival with kind of offshoots and fringe events and stuff like that.
Workshops and
forums
and stuff. Yeah. So that's all my questions. So this is the bit at the end where you can talk about anything that we might not have covered, anything coming up that you want to highlight, anything at all that you want to talk about. Ask me questions, talk about the weather, whatever you want. But while you think of that, you don't have to have anything. Where can people find you? So what are your socials?
So first of all, you can find us on our website, which is marketingoptimist.co.uk. And then we're on LinkedIn, again, search for Marketing Optimist. We were on Twitter, but let's forget Twitter. And we're on Instagram, again, search for Marketing Optimist. Our main channel is LinkedIn, because that's just kind of where we've settled. We're on Facebook and the other bits and pieces as well, but we don't use it that much, just because it's not right for who we're marketing to. Anyone who's marketing, make sure you market to the right people in the right place at the right time. And LinkedIn is the one that works for us, so that's kind of what we stick to.
Excellent. So is there anything else that you want to discuss, shout about, complain about, anything at all? Or anything that you want to revisit that we've discussed already?
Yeah, I think the only thing... I was going to talk a little bit about Salmon on the Streets, but I guess that might be a better thing for you to do, would be to speak to Salmon on the Streets, because they can tell you...
I mean, we can give them a shout out, can't we, of just like... They're doing good work. It's anyone who's not familiar with them, they're a homeless charity based in Leeds, and one of a few, but they're one that I'm familiar with, and they're very active on LinkedIn as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a great charity. I think I've been a supporter of them for almost 15 years now. So before I started the agency, I was at another business, and we made them our charity there, and so I've been involved. I've done 2 sleep outs for them.
I've wanted to do that, but I've bottled it.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work is that sleep out. So I've done 2 sleep outs. We've done sponsored walks for them. We do lots of things for them, and we're also a 5 for 500 charity partner. I probably got that the wrong way around, but which basically means we donate £500 a year for the next 5 years, because the thing for Simon on the Streets is that they are not government supported at all. So everything that they get comes through fundraising.
Yeah.
They apply for grants and things like that, but they have to apply for them. So they're not supported by UK governments. They're not supported by a charity commission or anything like that. So they have to work really, really hard, and they do some amazing work, as you said, with the homeless people of Leeds and Bradford, which is scary that it's still needed.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I know they're celebrating their 25th year, and they've stated that it's kind of sad that they're still here 25 years later.
Also, it's kind of worse than ever, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's worse than ever, and I think in an ideal world, they would be a charity that didn't exist. In an ideal world, but we're not in an ideal world, so they need all the support they can get.
This is one of the reasons that I go on about UBI. It's like, surely in the 21st century we should be at a point where, like, if we're supposed to be, we're developed Western country, all this nonsense, but like, there should be a point where you just don't fall below that.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't happen, because this is how civilized we are now.
Yeah.
And, it's just not on offer, is it?
No, and it is a massive shame but that's, as we said, it's not going to change, because the people who can make the change aren't going to make it. Unfortunately.
But unfortunately, there are people who are taking active steps to do what they can.
Yes. Yeah. We with all these things, we all need to do what we can, and hopefully keep pressure on. And who knows? Yeah. Maybe these things will arrive. But
and that's it. It's like, people are being helped, but it just, that it is a problem that shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that's all my questions. That's everything that I've gone through.
Okay.
Nothing else that you want to...
No, I think we've covered off everything, yeah.
It's plenty of time, and we do cover a lot of ground.
Yeah. I don't know how long we've done.
Goes quick.
We've done quite a lot, haven't we? Yeah. I don't envy you editing all that lot down.
No, well, this is why I keep it to 2 hours. So the idea with 2 hours is at least I get an hour of material. So if I was doing a large cutting ratio, which I generally don't do, because I generally leave most of it in.
Yeah.
But if I was going to make it like, really tight and the best bits I could cut down, I'd have at least an hour of material. But also, because I've done ones where, I think the longest one I did, I was talking to someone for 3.5 hours.
Right,
it was
wow.
just a good chat.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't want to edit 3.5 hours. Even if I'm just listening through to proof, it's like, it's too long.
Yeah, 3.5, and nobody's going to listen to 3.5 hours, are they?
Some people have.
Some people have,
you can take it in pieces, but yeah, there is that problem. And then the other thing is like, well, I could do it in 2 parts, but then no one listens to the second part apparently, so they'll listen to the first part, but they don't come back.
Right, okay. And what's your listenership?
So this month's been pretty good. So it should hit 250. I'd got it up to about 300, like over 300 a month for a short period of time. And it was after I'd done, it was like a radio appearance or something. There was, like you say, you do something, there was a boost. And then I was ill, and there was various other stuff going on, and I was just not putting stuff out. And then there was a huge drop off, obviously. Yeah. And then I've had to kind of build back up from there.
Right, okay.
So this month I've had like about heading towards 250 listeners, and I've passed over 200 like 4 months out of the last 12.
Okay.
So it's moving back into growth.
Yeah.
But in terms of regular listeners per episode, it varies between like 6 and 12.
Right, okay.
So I think there's like a dozen sort of regular listeners. Yeah. I don't know who they are.
No.
I think I know some of them. But yeah, you get randoms dipping in, and certain episodes will go really big sometimes. Or, because people are on the internet for all sorts of reasons, aren't they? So that, like the other month I had just 115 from France randomly.
Right, okay.
I guess they were all from the same place, like maybe a school or something was doing something, and they were like, this is part of the thing that who knows? Yeah. But and it goes through periods where you kind of, at the moment it feels like there's a bit of activity around it, and people are talking about, like a couple of people have emailed about being on the show and stuff, so it feels like there's a bit of discussion about it in the minute.
Yeah.
That hasn't translated into more listeners straight
Right,
away.
okay.
But people do listen. And, you know.
It's about doing it. Apart from my point of view, it's about doing it. I'm just trying to find out a little bit more.
You're right.
I'm not. The fact that there's not millions of listeners is not a problem.
No.
It's more the fact that I've done it. I'm a guest on your podcast for me.
Yeah. And it's, I think it's, you know, you can do a million podcasts and they're all different, but I think it's an interesting set of questions.
Yeah.
And I think it's, because you've got the first three questions, I've spent an hour on those first three questions before, so people can really go into detail about either their past or their current work, or getting into that work, or what they've developed, and then we can spend as long or as short on the other questions as well. It's like sometimes, as I said, that's where all the detail comes out. Other times it's just like, people are like, nah, it doesn't really affect it, nah, that doesn't bother me, nah. And I've done ones where I'll go through the whole 9 questions like 40 minutes, and then I'm like, just think up random things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's to fill the space, and other times people just want to, you know, just go bang and get out.
Yeah. And sometimes when I've done video interviews in that kind of way, we've been less about this, but you kind of have like, here's my set questions, and then somebody says something, and then you go, that's made me think of something else I can ask you, because it kind of leads on from you've said this. Mm-hmm. So I'm now going to go off script a bit and go here, and then maybe we can come back if it works.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do get things where none of the questions will really work, and you kind of just, you know, so I've done episodes where I just sort of like talk about the business, or like what they're doing or what they're trying to do, and don't really cover the questions too much, because it's not always, doesn't always fit.
Yeah.
But for most people, it kind of, the reason the questions are what they are is that they kind of came out of just what we were discussing. So I didn't really have any set questions. I just had the, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah.
And then we just kind of talked about various stuff. But these were the areas that sort of came up consistently. So I was like, well, we'll talk about them.
Yeah.
And then the other ones I kind of added on, and they do various things for me, fulfill functions. But this is, it's an exercise in networking, it's an exercise in promoting leads, it's an exercise in me doing something that I actually want to do for a change.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun and it's difficult, and seemed like a good idea at the time, and has been a good idea at times.
Cool. Okay. Well, I say it's a lot of work, which is exactly why we've not done one our own, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And as I said, for me, it's
easy to make one, isn't it?
If I can sit and talk to you, and now you're going to do all the hard work because I've just sat and talked to you. And I think for me as well, for podcasts I listen to, I think they are more that kind of discussion. I think you get a lot more out of that than you ever would kind of sort of scripted-y thing.
Yeah, and I like the ones that are more discursive, that are more of a discussion.
Yeah.
Because it's that sort of like lost art of the conversation, and I know everything's geared towards short form sound bites, and that's how you market. But it's also like, no, I want people to make an effort. I want people to concentrate. I want people. You don't have to be like fully locked in. You can have it on in the background. But I want a long form interview, something that you spend time with, you think about, and I want something of the person to come across as well, which is why I start with what did you want to be when you grew up? Because that immediately puts a picture in the listener's mind of this person's childhood and who they were and when they were growing up and stuff. And and it's interesting what people come out with, because you don't hear astronaut and fireman and footballer as much as you think you would. You hear it plenty, but you know, and it's surprising how many people just were like, I never really had anything in mind.
Right, okay.
Just never knew what.
Yeah.
So, because for me it was always like I had loads of things. You know, I wanted to be a surgeon, wanted to be a pathologist, wanted to be an astronaut, wanted to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, everyone wants to be Spider-Man, yeah.
So, all of those things. But, okay, so I will shut up. Thank you very much for this.
You're welcome.
Thank you again to Richard for being my guest. Thanks as always to all my guests, and thanks to you, Leeds, for being my subject. You can find Richard at marketingoptimist.co.uk, or you can connect with him on LinkedIn, or you can join the business LinkedIn, linkedin.com/company/the-marketing-optimist. Links in the show note as usual. We've got a double drop of episodes again next week. This has all been just to show you what you could have had, and then it will be irregular posts again because I'm not wasting my time and energy on just demonstrating yet again what you could have won. Why is it always a speedboat? Anyway, if you'd like to contact me about anything working hours related, which you don't and won't, then you can email me about the show at workinghourspod@western-studios.com, and I'll be as petulant as I want on my show, especially after you've had your free main course. If you don't like it, don't listen. Simon keeps it simple for you, you see. Okay, that's me. Remember, listener, no matter what you do, it's impossible for you to understand anything that your salary depends on you not understanding. So try to work for peace and try to plan with kindness. Raise your voice, but reduce your impact. Cheers, ears. Take care out there and be kind to each other. Leeds. Working Hours is produced, recorded, edited, created and published by Simon Treen for Western Studios Leeds Limited. The music was The Bees from Chopin's Etudes, which is in the public domain and was taken from museopen.org. Remember, Western Studios Leeds Limited when you're ready to start making your content in West Yorkshire. Follow Western Studios Leeds on Facebook, facebook.com/Western_Studios_Leeds, and on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/company/Western-Studios. Bookmark western-studios.com so you can see the latest prices and use my contact page to drop me a message about your own podcast project or working hours at any time from anywhere. Maybe you want or need a podcast host, co-host or narrator for your podcast project. Maybe you just need another voice for one or more episodes of your show. Podcasts are so much more than gossip, book promotions, and marketing for online courses. Podcasts and other audio content get your online brand out there. Want to make some fundraising case studies? Want to have an audiobook or video course? Want to share your learning, knowledge, and expertise in your field? Want to learn, teach, or raise awareness of something general or particular? Want to improve internal comms with messages your staff might actually engage with? Or do you just want to brighten up the world with some entertaining content? Then make a podcast. If you're making your podcast within West Yorkshire, then think about making it with western-studios.com. Whatever your podcast questions or needs, get in touch with Western Studios Leeds.